Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Being that it is now 6 p.m. on Monday, August 13th, 2018, I'll call to order the Board of Selectmen's meeting. If we could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item on the agenda is appointment of new firefighter, effective July 1st, 2018, Reyes M. Rodriguez.
Please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear and affirm that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties known by you as a member of the Webster Fire Department according to the best abilities and understandings, agreeable with town bylaws and the laws of the Commonwealth of Ohio. Congratulations.
He didn't jump, that's good.
There you go. Beautiful. Yeah. You have 12 minutes. You have 12 minutes.
Well, I'll start it off. We're glad to have you, so. Thank you.
Did you know this was coming?
No. No, I'm prepared for a speech. I really don't have any words to say. I mean, besides that, I'm just proud to be a member of this department. And I really like it. You know, great support system from the gentlemen, fellow firefighters. I'm just looking forward to be a fellow member, fellow brother to them, and just a great firefighter to the town of Webster.
So, just a little background. Reyes came to the fire department last year. We put him through the Caldwell Training Center at the Massachusetts Firefighting Academy. It's about a 4-month program where he goes nights and weekends to complete his courses while he's working full-time to support his family. So it was a pretty big burden on him and his family, and I just want to congratulate him on a job well done. So.
Thanks for your dedication.
Congratulations, welcome aboard.
This evening, we also have the promotion of 2 firefighters to the rank of lieutenant, effective July 1st, 2018, Edwin Sterzala and Andrew Condos.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear and affirm that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as lieutenants in the Webster Fire Department, according to the best abilities and understandings, agreeable with town bylaws and the laws of the Commonwealth, so help you God? Congratulations, gentlemen.
You want some help?
Moms can handle that.
Yeah, you can take a picture.
Should even get it. Take it off. Oh, I'm up first?
You're up.
All right. So it's an honor. I think I can almost speak for both of us to be put in this position. We've been on the department for a couple of years now. I have 10. I think Ed's got about 15. When I first started, I never once thought that I would be in this position, given the crew that was already ahead of us. So for me, it's just a pure honor.
Yeah, and the same goes for me as well. Obviously, you know, being an honor to be on this department. As a little kid, watching the trucks go, you know, downtown during the parades and such, and to be a lieutenant on this department, even a member of this department, is absolutely amazing. So I'm very honored to be part of this and part of this department.
Thanks for keeping us safe.
Thank you.
But we are going to take a few items out of the order, as the next couple of items do pertain to the fire department. So the next item is vote on the designation of Joseph Elderkin as a special municipal employee.
Yeah, so right now Joseph, he's here sitting in the back. He is currently a call firefighter on the department, and he applied and was recommended for appointment as the custodian for the police station. You can't really have two jobs with the town unless one is designated as a special municipal employee, so we're going to designate the call firefighter position as a special municipal employee for Joe. Do you have any questions? Joe's I sat in on the interview with him. He's a great guy. We're excited to have him.
What is the pleasure of the board?
Make motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve changing Joseph Elderkin as a special municipal employee. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. And next item on the agenda is declare as surplus property the 1995 Sutphen Fire Engine number 5.
So Chief can join us, but so this is this would be to replace the truck that we just got the funding for. So the company we're buying the new truck for offered us, I believe it was $12,000 as a trade-in value. So if we want to take advantage of that, it needs to be declared surplus. It will stay in circulation for the next year until the new truck is delivered to the department. But we did want to get that declared surplus.
And what is the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve declaring the fire truck as surplus.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to declare the 1995 Sutphen Fire Engine 5 as surplus. Is there any discussion? Chief?
Just, not on that truck, but
Okay.
we have one more vehicle that we didn't declare surplus. That was the 96 Expedition that we need to add. So if you can't do it tonight because of that, we can add it to the next month, but that truck will be traded into place motors when a new pickup shows up.
Okay.
Right. Hearing no other discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. The next item is declare as surplus property the 1994 International 4900 fire truck.
That's the, just for
That's ladder
explanation,
two.
Mr. Chairman, that's the ladder truck, right?
Yeah, the old ladder truck.
And again, that's being replaced as, with the new truck that was just approved at town meeting.
Motion to declare as surplus.
Question, if I may, Mr. Chairman, what you get for a trade on that?
Nobody wanted to take it as a trade, so we're gonna have to market
Chassis?
that on eBay or something to try to.
Chassis, no?
No, the fire truck trading companies didn't want any part of it because the
Really?
ladder was being so old, they didn't want the liability of what goes along with it, so.
Okay, thank you.
We're gonna market that on eBay and try to get what we can out of it.
So we have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
So we have a motion and a second, is there any further discussion? Hearing no discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. Perfect, thanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, next item on the agenda, we had a request by Joseph LaPlante to place a new monument at the Veterans Court of Honor.
Yeah, thank you for coming, everyone. So while they're walking down, we have, Joe's not able to be here tonight due to some health issues. But they do want to put a new monument at the Court of Honor out here in front of Town Hall. There's a story, this dog, he was serving in Afghanistan, and he was walking before the sergeant, I believe, and he was trained to pick out mines and things like that to keep the troops safe over there. The dog did step on a mine and lost his leg, and so they would like to put a statue out there showing the dog, and rather than this officer, they wanted to put a female officer because there's not a female soldier on the monument currently. So this is the statue that they would like to put out there. I think they still haven't picked a final site, but they wanted to get the selectmen's approval or just some idea if you were going to support it or not before they went through the process of seeking out donations to fund it. So they have about 50% of the funds raised for it, and they will be reaching out for the other 50% if the Board of Selectmen give a voice of support to it.
Through the chair, what was the total cost on that?
I don't know, did they tell you?
I don't have the total cost, but the request to put the female in the picture was from the original Marine, who's
Yeah.
funding half of the cost of it. So
okay.
at the dedication, the original Marine that's in the original picture would fly out here from Indiana with,
Really?
with his dog, who was given to him at the time that he retired. So the original dog and the Marine in the first picture would be here for the dedication, and he's funding half of it. And there has been some interest from another party in town because of the representation of the animal in the picture, that they would like to be involved, if it is approved by the selectmen, to potentially fund the rest of the memorial.
So they aren't expecting the town to be putting forward any money for the statues.
It's quite
Mr.
a
Chairman, just
background, thank you.
another question. Is this another committee? Is it the Soldiers and Monuments Committee? That's already gone through there, or?
Yes, yeah, they have, correct.
So they're just looking for a,
Yeah, because it's town property, it needs to be approved by
So
the
moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
To approve that request.
so we have a motion and a second to approve the placement of the new monument at the Veterans Court of Honor. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. Next item on the agenda is the request for a special two-day alcohol permit for Saints Constantine and Helen Church Festival on September 8th, 2018, from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., and on September 9th, 2018, from noon until 6 p.m.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the special two-day alcohol permit. Is there any discussion? And I just wanted to clarify, this is for all alcohol as allowed per ABCC laws,
Right.
as they're a nonprofit. Correct, Jen?
Yes.
All right, any other discussion? Hearing no other discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. Next item on the agenda is a request for a special one-day alcohol permit, BYOB, for a play at the French River Park on August 16th, 2018.
So moved, Mr. Chairman. I said the BYOB, and it's,
Right.
Yeah.
Deputy Chief had signed off on it. and
Right, they will have a
They will
detail
have
there.
detail there. It says right on the,
Okay, so to clarify, it's just going to be a BYOB license?
correct.
Okay.
Second.
So you have a motion and a second to approve the BYOB license for the Recreation Commission for Thursday, August 16th, 2018, from 6:30 PM to 9:30 PM.
Mr. Chairman, just a quick question. I assume it's the town of Webster that's the named insured?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Right. Hearing no other discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. Next item on the agenda is a request for a special one-day alcohol permit for an appreciation celebration for the new library.
Yeah, so this is for the grand opening of the library. They're having a kind of a VIP event the night before, so this would be for that. Again, a police officer will be there, so we recommend approval.
Give a date.
September 21st.
Okay.
so moved.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the special one-day liquor license for the Gladys E. Kelly Library Friends for September 21st, 2018. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. Next item on the agenda is a request from the Polish Americans Veterans Club for a change of manager and change of beneficial interest on their all-alcohol club license.
So moved, Mr. Chairman. That's in, when they change, if I'm sorry, maybe we should, I'll wait for discussion.
Second.
All right, so we have a
Sorry
motion and a
about that.
second. Any discussion?
No, it's just that when they change the managers, not just the manager, but usually the officers, they usually just turn around, most of the clubs, I think.
Yes.
He's a commander now, I believe. Mr.
Yeah,
Commander.
that's what it shows.
And all of their paperwork, Jen, has been received and in line?
Meticulous. Yep.
Very good.
Right, so we have a motion and a second to approve the change of manager and change of beneficial interest for the Polish Americans Veterans Club. Is there any other discussion? Hearing no other discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. Next item on the agenda is a request from Webster Music Boosters to hold a 5K race fundraiser on October 20th, 2018.
So the Boosters Club has worked with the police department. They'll coordinate the necessary police details or security arrangements to make sure that the runners are safe. We recommend approval.
Okay,
Yeah.
so moved, Mr. Chairman. I noticed they, again, I'll shut up and wait till.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the request from Webster Music Boosters to hold a 5K race fundraiser on October 20th, 2018. Is there any discussion?
Yes, just, it's very, very minuscule. They do have their insurance and everything else in order, we saw in there and so forth.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Actually, I think we need to bring up who from the Board of Selectmen will be running in the 5K.
We'll see.
Chairman will
Well,
put this.
wait,
That's the chairman's
don't we have
responsibility.
two
The
selectmen?
the
that-
chairman,
make a
the chairman and the vice chairman will race
Chairman.
each other. Mr. Chairman, just a quick question. The
Yes.
permit fee, do we need a specific vote to waive the permit fee, or? I know that's part of the
Yes,
request.
they do have a request to
Request.
waive the permit fee.
Yeah, if you want to include that in the motion, that would.
So moved.
Seconded.
Oh,
Thank
right.
you.
And it looks like they have done the I believe they did a race last year as well.
Yeah, same thing.
This one's not quite as, I couldn't run it, but I'm just saying, it's all rather local in and around the neighborhood
Yes.
there, which is pretty neat.
Any other
You could handle it,
discussion?
Mr. Miller. It's only a 5K. You could do it.
I'll take my truck, yes.
Hearing no other discussion, Jen, will you poll the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. Next item on the agenda is create a formulary for the disbursement of the Webster Tornado Relief Fund.
So, as you know, the tornado came through town last Saturday, and we had a great outpouring of support from community members and from people outside our community as well. They want to donate money. We tried our best to find another organization to collect these donations, the Red Cross and MEMA. We were unsuccessful in finding another alternate route to have these collected. So we opened a bank account just up the street, and people have been donating to it. So we need to come up with some way to disperse these funds. They'll go through the regular town warrant process and signed off through the accounting and the treasurer's office. But who gets the money, we need to figure out how. So there's two different options. Well, there's two different options we've been thinking about. One is that the people at 41 Main Street, who their building was not torn down and they are able to get most of their personal items out of it, we could give them a small amount for the cost of relocating, and then the remainder of the funds we can split between the two units at 38 Main Street, which were torn down and they had very little option to get any of their personal belongings out. Or we can have a disbursement allocation committee and have basically an application where people come in, they itemize what they lost, and what insurance or other organizations have not covered, and that they're kind of out of pocket, and then the allocation committee can look at those and make a specific recommendation on how much they think each individual deserves. Those are two separate options. I don't know if the board has a feel one way or the other how you'd like to handle that.
Mr. Chairman, I know that Muffray actually did create a fund. They donated $10,000 and are asking employees if they also want to donate, and it's done through the Red Cross. So I don't know if you're aware of that or not. So it may make sense to maybe just find out.
Yeah,
I can get you in touch with the right person if we can combine these, because I know to do this is very difficult.
Right, and
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
time.
Yeah, if that's an option, that would by far.
So in other words, you could take the money and then designate it to the Red Cross Relief, which I believe is just for people who have lived there, not for businesses.
Yeah.
I can get the town administrator more information on it, but I did see a note about that.
Okay, yes, because we spoke with the local person at Red Cross, and they said they wouldn't handle it, but yeah, if
They
there's
may not
another
have,
way-
and they may not have known, or
Yeah.
it might just have been timing, so.
Yeah, I think that would be the preferred route.
I would
Yeah,
Certainly
if we
from
can-
my perspective,
Yes,
yes.
absolutely.
So if it's okay with the board, I'll put Doug in touch with the
Absolutely.
proper person tomorrow.
Sure.
Yeah, we may need to, at some point, well, I think we just have to cut a check to the Red Cross if that's what we're doing.
Correct.
Yeah, is that something we could, assuming we can do this, maybe we can take a contingent vote, that if we are able to do that, we would vote to do
To
that.
donate it through the Red Cross.
I don't have a problem with
No.
that. Sure.
I'll make that in the form of a motion then.
Randy made the motion, I'll second the motion.
Right. So you have a motion and a second to pending the town administrator being able to get in touch with a member of the Red Cross to send the money from the relief fund to the Red Cross for them to disperse it.
Correct. As a specific designated fund
Fund.
handled by the Red Cross for the tornado.
For the
relief.
town of Webster.
Yeah.
Right, so we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing no other discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. Next item is the appointment of Earl Gabor as the Board of Selectmen's delegate to the Central Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission.
So moved.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to appoint Earl Gabor as the Board of Selectmen's delegate to the Central Mass Regional Planning Commission. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. Next item is appoint Jason Piotr as the Board of Selectmen's alternate to the Central Mass Regional Planning Commission.
So moved.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to appoint Jason Piotr as the Board of Selectmen's alternate to the Central Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. Next item is appointments to the Economic Development Committee.
So we've reactivated the Economic Development Committee. There's specific membership requirements, and there's 3 business owners, and they're on for terms of 3 years. So Don Bork and Chris Charniak have both volunteered. And then there's 2 members with real estate, finance, or development experience, and those are 2-year terms. One, Nancy Healy has volunteered, and Mark Becker has as well. And then 1 member with planning and economic development background for a 1-year term, Sharon McMahon. The board has already appointed her. And then 1 member at large, Dennis Luco, who is also a member of the Webster, sort of the Worcester Chamber that has the Webster Dudley Oxford chapter of it.
So are you looking for a motion to appoint?
To appoint all those members except Sharon.
No.
So moved.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to appoint Don Bork, Chris Charniak, Nancy Healy, Mark Becker, and Dennis Luco to the Economic Development Committee. Is there any discussion?
Just, Mr. Chairman, indicate that as per the terms for each of those individuals, because they're all different terms.
Yep, so Don Bork and Chris Charniak would be for a 3-year term. Nancy Healy and Mark Becker would be for a 2-year term. And Dennis Luco would be for a 1-year term.
And there's still 1 vacancy if one of the 2 members in the audience is interested.
Nice try.
Or maybe not.
Any further discussion? Hearing no other discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes, with a recusal on my brother Mark. Thank you.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. Next item is the appointments to the Downtown Liquor License Committee, Ann Morgan and Ted Tatro.
So the new owners of the Holden Block have been trying to attract a business, a restaurant that would like to have a liquor license. When the downtown specific liquor license ordinance was passed by law, it required that there be a committee, and the previous town planner was on there as well as the town engineer. So we are recommending Ann Morgan and Ted Tetrall be on the committee.
Oh, so moved.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to appoint Ann Morgan and Ted Tatro to the Downtown Liquor License Committee. Is there any discussion?
Just for discussion, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
We had 5, I believe, licenses, and not to be sold off or any of that. Okay.
And I believe all 5 are available right now. Is that
I
correct?
thought
I mean,
one-
the
Frenchman's
brewer
is
might be
one.
the one.
One.
Of them. Yeah.
One
that
of
we
them.
just
Yeah,
had
because it
one.
was designated in the, what they termed at that time,
Blighted.
the Slum and Blight
Right, and
District.
that's one that's still here.
Right, any other discussion? Hearing no other discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. Next item on the agenda is create and develop a mission for the Memorial Beach Planning Committee.
Jen, did you already hand these out? Or-
I put
Yes.
them on
Oh, you okay,
everybody's
so you
desk.
have a copy. So Jen drafted a proposed mission as well as organization with certain membership. So we just want to get your feedback. We had the meeting a couple of Mondays ago where we got a lot of feedback from people that lived on the lake that one of the suggestions that came out of that is that we need to have a committee to plan the development of the beach for the future. So this is what we put together as the plan, or the proposed mission for the committee. I'll just read it for us. So make recommendations to the Board of Selectmen on uses for the Memorial Beach, specifically as they relate to planning and development. Formulate options for the most practical ways to utilize the space at Memorial Beach while generating maximum revenue for the town. Foster ways to enhance Memorial Beach to provide an optimal space for all town residents. Enhance Memorial Beach by developing ideas for off-season usage. Evaluate and make recommendations concerning fee structures for seasonal passes and renting out Memorial Beach at times when it would not otherwise be open. Ensure proposed development projects conform with all land and zoning development codes. Hold public meetings to solicit input from town residents on ideas for development. Formulate long-range community goals, objectives, and proposals for adoption by the Board of Selectmen. Visit and review the development efforts of other beaches for the purpose of information gathering. And we had a group of 7 volunteers. We may want to adjust that. But the 7 committee members would be comprised of the Recreation Director, a member of the Webster Planning Board, 3 residents who live on the lake, and 2 Webster residents.
Suggestion, if I may,
Yes.
through the chair, of course.
Yes.
We should have one of the members as a veteran because they are the honorary trustees of Memorial Beach. Just maybe one of the applicants or people would be, it might not be a bad idea.
Fine with me.
Yeah, but I'm fine with that. I wonder if we should have, that as the 8th person and maybe do a 9th, in other words, instead of 2 other residents, 3.
Yep.
'Cause you
All right.
want
Having
an odd-
9.
you want an
9
odd
total.
number.
I'm sorry?
You want an odd number.
Yes.
Yes, you want an odd number. So maybe we do
So we
do what
do-
Mr. Miller suggests,
Yeah.
and also have 3 Webster residents.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, the only other question I had was if we want to mention anything about the pavilion and whether or not, this group would help come up with a policy on the pavilion use. We don't specifically say the
Right.
pavilion yet.
Yeah. Certainly that could be part of it. And the pavilion.
We do
It's
have
not
a
yet built.
question.
Yeah, yeah.
Bob Craver, resident of Webster. I happened to sit in on that meeting, and it's a very good meeting. I think one of the things that came out of it is a long-range 25-year plan, 5, 10, 15, and 25-year plan. Paul LaFramboise and I offered to chair that committee and work with, there's a lot of potential there. I don't know any other town that has 25 acres of waterfront property, and that's what we have. If we do it properly, it'll be good for the future. From a personal standpoint, the reason I want to be involved is the beach house. It was designed for something 50, 60 years ago. My grandfather was on the original building committee. I would like to be on the rehab committee. I think it'd be fun to carry that tradition forward. Paul has got a lot of good ideas, and he's on the planning board, he's chairman of the planning board. He'd be a valuable asset. That night, we put it out, and I've actually forwarded, I got 6 or 7
Yeah,
requests.
and I think I got 3 or 4 separate ones too.
Yeah, that would be interested in joining the committee. There's a lot of potential, and I think most of the people that I spoke with have an open mind about what we can do there. There were some that were very adamant about what shouldn't go there, but you're gonna find out with everything you do. So, I just think that this is a perfect opportunity to take Memorial Beach into the next century and do a damn good job.
Absolutely.
I agree, well said.
And FYI, I would be interested in the Economic Committee.
There we go. See, it worked.
A twofer.
Let's see. So we can add the use of the pavilion as one of the recommendations. My only hesitation with that is that seems like more of a day-to-day
Operational.
operations thing versus this is long-term planning. But
Right.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
Carol
you
will be
don't
open
need to,
their
you don't need to
feedback.
specifically say it in here. I think, just making sure that's going to be an asset of the beach.
So is there a motion from the board to accept the proposed mission for the Memorial Beach Planning Committee and the changes in the composition for membership?
Second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to accept the mission for Memorial Beach Planning Committee and the composition of the members. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman, with Bob just mentioning the Economic Development Committee, could we take that up again?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seeing as how he's present
It's
and-
on the agenda, so.
And I would,
Absolutely.
One thing, so the vacancy, the way we just voted it was a business owner, so I would think though it would be appropriate to have Dennis as a business owner because he's kind of the manager of a local business, and then Bob can be the resident. Oh, well, there you go. You want to just be the business for a 3-year term?
Whichever one you want.
Let's do it that way.
yeah, so I'll make a motion to appoint Mr. Craver
Oh,
as the
second.
business member,
Oh,
the business owner member for 3 years.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to appoint Mr. Craver to the Economic Development Committee for a 3-year term. Is there any discussion?
Thank you.
Hearing no discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. Next item on the agenda is vote and sign the warrant for the state primary election to be held on Tuesday, September 4th, 2018.
So this is the standard warrant for the election. Since Bob's here, we can ask for his input. Anything with the special election in September?
That's the primary.
Yeah, the primary, yep.
You just have to read it.
Oh, we have to read it? Good thing we have a chairman.
Yes.
Sorry.
Not a problem. Commonwealth of Massachusetts, William Francis Galvin, Secretary of the Commonwealth, to the constables of the town of Webster, greetings in the name of the Commonwealth. You are hereby required to notify and warn the inhabitants of said city or town who are qualified to vote in the primaries to vote at precincts 1 and 2, United Church of Christ, 4 Church Street, Webster, precincts 3, 4, and 5 at the new Senior Center, 5 Church Street, Webster. On Tuesday, the 4th day of September 2018, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the following purpose: to cast their votes in the state primaries for the candidates of the political parties for the following offices: Senator in Congress for this Commonwealth, Governor for this Commonwealth, Lieutenant Governor for this Commonwealth, Attorney General for this Commonwealth, Secretary of State for this Commonwealth, Treasurer and Receiver General for this Commonwealth, Auditor for this Commonwealth, Representative in Congress, 2nd District, Counselor, 7th District, Senator in General Court, Worcester and Norfolk District, Representative in General Court, 18th Worcester District, District Attorney, Middlesex District, Middle District, Clerk of the Courts, Worcester County, Register of Deeds for the Worcester District. Hereof fail not, and make return of this warrant with your doings thereon at the time and place of said voting. And this warrant will be properly posted in the Webster Times, the Town Hall, the Town Clerk's Office, the Police Station, the Fire Station, and the Town Senior Center.
So moved.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second for the warrant for the state primary election for September 4th, 2018. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. Next item on the agenda is vote to open the warrant for the annual town meeting to be held on Monday, October 15th, 2018 at 7 p.m.
Yeah, so if we open the warrant tonight, we'd like to have it closed on Wednesday, August 29th at 4 p.m. That'll give residents a little over 2 weeks to submit any articles.
Great.
Questions?
So I'll just read I'll read the notice after we take a vote. Is there a motion and a second to
So
open up the warrant?
Second?
So you have a motion and a second to open up the warrant for the fall annual town meeting to be held on Monday, October 15th, 2018, at Bartlett High School Auditorium, 52 Lake Parkway in Webster, Mass. The warrant is now open through August 29th, 2018 at 4 p.m. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. And for those who are wondering, if you are looking to submit any citizens petitions for the warrant for the fall annual town meeting, the petitions must contain the signatures of 10 registered and certified voters of the town of Webster. The deadline to submit articles and petitions is Wednesday, August 29th, 2018 at 4 p.m. Next item on the agenda is declare as surplus property the 2001 Mercury Sable.
So this is a vehicle currently used by the water department, water and sewer. So we purchased new police vehicles, and so they are going to receive one of the old cruisers. And this one, the company we're buying the new cruisers from gave us a $500 trade-in value, which is about $450 more than I would have paid for it. So it is really in really rough shape. So I would recommend declaring it surplus.
You wanted it that bad?
Motion to declare it as surplus property.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second to declare the 2001 Mercury Sable as surplus property. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. Next item is a request to declare as surplus property 2000 Ford Echo Wagon as surplus property.
Yeah, so this is the vehicle that the police department has, so they will sell that on eBay if it's approved tonight, after waiting 10 days.
And
So moved.
Second. That's when your dad donated.
That is. Yes.
so we have a motion and a second to declare as surplus property the 2001 Ford Echo Wagon. Is there any
Econo.
discussion?
That's
Econo
what it
wagon.
should say.
Is there
Econo van.
any other discussion? Hearing no other discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. And next item is the town administrator's report.
Thank you, Andrew.
Seven
So you
pages.
should all have a copy of it. Just a reminder, we will be closed for Labor Day, September 3rd. And the next day, Tuesday, is the day of the election, so a little awkward, but it'll work out. Under public health and safety, we had an excellent response by all the first responders to the tornado. We want to give them a big thank you. We're going to do something more formal at the October town meeting, if that's okay with the board. We'll recognize them at that point.
Definitely, we just want to make sure that that's also okay with the town moderator
Yeah,
as
I'll
well.
run it by. So we will be holding the Police Chief Assessment Center on September 21st. As we discussed, the Marina Open Space and Recreation Committee meeting was held. That's still available on YouTube. And now we have the committee to plan the future development of the beach, which will bring members forward at our next meeting. We had a successful police duck-off held on Saturday, July 14th. So the money from that went to help support the police department's community events like Hoops for Hopes and National Night Out, which we also had a great National Night Out on August 7th, last Tuesday. Thank you to all the volunteers and for the police department who spearheaded that, and for Jen helping people on the boats. This upcoming week, we have a few interesting activities. So we have on Wednesday night the concert in the park and the farmers market, but on Thursday we have the Shakespeare play in the park at the French River Connection, or at the French River Park. That'll be Thursday, the 16th at 6 p.m. And just so you're aware, the jet ski races will be held on the lake on September 8th and 9th. So, again, I know we mentioned this last time that the staffing in the accounting office is going to be down for the next couple months. They're doing a good job filling it in. We actually had a member from another office is going to be assisting and working some overtime to help cover the workload there. We recently changed insurance providers, had a significant change, and so we were with Maya. We've gone with Braley Wellington. There's over $100,000 in savings. We hope that next year when we renew, they don't skyrocket the prices, but at that point we'll have the ability to bid it out if that looks like that's what's going to happen. And also we contracted with an unemployment insurance audit company. So in the past, no one was really monitoring unemployment that well. So this is a company for $500 a quarter. They'll monitor it, make sure that if there ever is a hearing that we're well represented. And typically this pays for itself over and over again throughout the year. So under economic development, we sent letters to some national chains notifying them of potential sites in Webster, specifically on Route 16 and Sutton Road, right there near the Exit 2 interchange. Also, there's a couple other sites that we'll be reaching out to. We just want to get approval from the owners before we start marketing the properties for them. And this past EDC meeting, we assigned EDC members to EDC Economic Development Committee, in case you didn't catch that, to reach out to businesses that opened recently in town, see what their feedback was. Most of them gave us great feedback. The one thing that they did mention is that we have these development team meetings where someone can come in and ask questions before they go do something. We determined it would be best if we put those things down in writing after the meeting, because sometimes people walk away with a different perception than was intended at the meeting. Then we also did some outreach to owners of properties that we feel have a high development or redevelopment potential in town. Under infrastructure, the water filtration plant is going well, so the tanks are constructed. The concrete needs to cure, but then they'll be able to test them, and the dirt will be backfilled soon. And the Thompson Road work is currently complete. The next step will not happen until spring when we're ready to connect the new filtration plant with the water tower. The library, very exciting, should be turned over to the town on Friday. Then we'll take 2 weeks to move everything into the new building, get it all clean and set up. So the day after Labor Day is the opening of that. So that will mean Town Hall will return to normal business hours. So we're going to try to hold most of our meetings on Monday night to avoid having the custodians work overtime to save a little money there. The landfill was an issue before. They dug the test pits. We're hoping that they come back positive that the different cap system that they used 20 years ago when they capped it was appropriate. The initial expectation from the engineer that was on site is that it will be fine, and that I think we appropriated $150,000, something, maybe it was even $200,000. So hopefully most of that we can reallocate to another project in the future. Main Street was paved and striped since we were last meeting. I think it looks really good. Yeah.
May I, through the chair?
Yes.
Why are they digging it up already?
Yeah. So, yeah, down at that end. So we knew National Grid needed to come and do something.
Okay.
But they're going to be doing from that point on to the bridge
Dudley
next
line.
year, so they'll fix it all then.
Okay.
But yes,
Always
when Kenny
happens.
told me, I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "No, they'll be redoing that whole part." And it was like where to draw the line, and was like 4 feet over or something, so.
It's a little bit, but the story is always when we lay down a new road or a new street,
Yeah,
or
don't touch
whatever
it
it might be, within a week or two, somebody's digging it up already. Just a question, sorry.
Well, kudos on how quickly it got done.
Oh, it did.
from-
They were very good.
Uh,
Excellent.
Including
Yeah.
the striping to the highway department. And
So in another town that I might live in, like, the roads were milled, and then it was like 3 weeks later before they came back and
They were
did the overlay.
very quick.
Yeah, so that was very good. Okay, so town hall, once the library moves out, we're looking at different options for the auditorium. We've reached out to the Nichols MBA school and asked them to come. We were actually hoping that some entrepreneurial students would like to run a business out of the auditorium. We'll see how that works. But we're also working to get some of the old documents out of the basement removed and some of the rooms that have environmental concerns cleaned up, and then we'll be able to remodel the basement. And the gazebo out back, we're working on getting a new roof for that as well. At our last meeting, we approved a response to the open meeting law complaint that was approved by the Attorney General. We have been interviewing for the new planning conservation clerk. We have a few more interviews this week and hope to offer someone either the position at the end of the week or early next week. I forgot to take off number A, letter A. So the resident survey is still online. We will be holding the free community shredding day, which you saw the flyer in the packet. So anyone in the community can come bring paper products or their private papers to town hall that Saturday, and they will be shredded. We'll also do a lot of the town's old documents, and we were able to get a grant, and if we open it up to the public, the grant would pay for the shredding of all the materials.
Mr. Chairman, just a quick question.
Yes.
So if someone comes, they can, like bank statements people want,
Yep.
they can have them destroyed right in front of them?
So
Is that how it
yeah,
works?
right in
Yeah,
front.
it will be a
They'll do it on
truck
site.
with a shredder built into it.
Because some people might not want to give,
Yeah,
Bank
because there was two
statements to someone
options where
else.
you throw it in the truck and they shred it off site, but they'll shred
They'll
it
do
on site.
on-site
Okay, good.
shredding, yeah.
And we are looking for volunteers to be part of the Water Sewer Commission. Conservation is still looking for another committee member. Planning Board, I think, has 2. Finance Committee 1, and ZBA, I think, needed 3.
well,
And the ZBA is the Zoning Board of
Zoning
Appeals,
Board,
correct? Okay.
We do have the engineer's report from the last week. A couple of things to note on here that we're looking at stormwater regulation. We're having a meeting later this week to review those and hopefully make a recommendation to adopt new stormwater regulations. And they're working on the fire station underground storage tank that will be removed hopefully by the end of the month.
Right. Do we have a motion to accept the town administrator's report?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Chairman.
So we have a motion and a second to accept the town administrator's report. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. And next item on the agenda is the review and the vote on the acceptance of the Board of Selectmen's regular session meeting minutes from July 9th, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second to accept and approve the Board of Selectmen's regular session meeting minutes from July 9th, 2018. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes. All right, seeing no other items on the agenda, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr.
Second.
Chairman.
All right, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Jen, will you pull the board?
Selectman Miller?
Yes.
Selectman Becker?
Yes.
Chairman Jolda?
Yes.